26th of April 2022, the authorities announced they have arrested a juvenile in connection to the murder of 10-year-old Lily Peters. Lily's father reported her missing at around 9 p.m. on the night of the 24th of April, when she failed to return home along nearby East Birch Street in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, from her auntie's house. Lily's bike was found close by hours later in a wooded area just off a walking trail. At around 9:15 a.m. the following morning, her lifeless body was found in the woods near the London Google Brewery, and the matter was treated as a homicide. On the 26th of April, the police executed a search warrant at her home, located at 422 North Grove Street, where she was last seen by family members. Following the search, the authorities collected evidence, and a juvenile was taken into custody. The authorities didn't reveal the suspect's name, age or gender, but they said the person was known to Lily. The investigation into the matter continues. On the 20th of April 2022, 30-year-old Amy Manning was sentenced to spend 14 years in prison after a 4-month-old son drowned in a bathtub of a hotel where she lived with her partner, 28-year-old David Meadow, and 2 other children. The incident occurred on the morning of the 20th of May 2021 at the Roadway Inn, located along the 3000 block of Lincoln Highway East in Paradise, Pennsylvania, when the authorities were contacted on reports of an unresponsive baby. When officers arrived, they met with the child's parents, Amy and David, who took them to the child. The deputies tried performing CPR on the baby, and he was transported to the Lancaster General Hospital. The infant was then airlifted to the Hershey Medical Center, but was later pronounced dead. Police started investigating the matter and learnt that David and Amy lived at the inn with 2 other children, a boy aged 6 and a girl aged 4, both of which were Amy's from a previous relationship. Investigators said that Amy was getting her other children ready for school and put them on a school bus, while David was playing video games, leaving the baby unattended in the bathtub while the water was running. Detectives obtained video surveillance from the inn and determined that the baby was left in the bathtub for at least 20 minutes. Amy said she put the baby boy in the bath with the running water because he liked it, and David said he saw the baby in the tub at some point and later used the bathroom, but didn't bother checking on him until later. He then noticed the water had gone over the baby's head, so he pulled him out, tried to perform CPR, and called 911 when Amy came back inside. The cause of death was determined to be freshwater drowning. The pair were arrested on the 4th of September 2021 along 100 block of North Bronx Road and were charged with 3rd-degree murder and endangering the welfare of children. Amy pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to spend 14 years in the Lancaster County Detention Center, while David is still going through trial. 32-year-old Rebecca Gasparino has been arrested and charged with murder after admitting to fatally slitting her 3-year-old daughter's throat. The events came to light at around 2:24 a.m. on the 23rd of April 2022, when the authorities pulled Rebecca's vehicle over for failing to stop at a stop sign near the intersection of Santiam Highway Southeast and Fulton Street Southeast in Albany, Oregon. Rebecca had been driving erratically, she had been weaving in and out of traffic, she had delayed speech and movement, and she could not identify where she was travelling from, and kept making references to the Holy Spirit. After passing a sobriety test, the officer asked her to identify the source of her behaviour. She then replied that she cut her daughter's throat with a knife, and her daughter was no longer alive. After detaining Rebecca, officers rushed to her home, located in the 2000 block of Someplace Southeast, to complete a welfare check on her daughter Sophia. Upon arrival, officers made contact with Rebecca's husband Scott Gasparino and father to the child. Scott had just woken up, and officers requested to enter the home to check up on Sophia, which he consented to. After searching the home, deputies found Sophia's lifeless body in a crib with a kitchen knife beside her, and her throat had been slashed. There were no other children in the home. Rebecca was taken to the police station for questioning. She told detectives that she went to the kitchen and got a knife and used it to cut Sophia's throat. She then said she placed the knife in the crib, left the home, got in a car, and was stopped by police. The authorities reported that Rebecca and Scott were in the middle of a separation and were fighting for custody of Sophia. Rebecca filed a restraining order against her husband on the 22nd of March 2022, saying she feared for her safety and that her child will be injured. She believed that they were in imminent danger of future abuse because Scott said he had a split personality named Bane, and he's afraid of what it could do if it came out. She then states she had a vision of Scott abusing Sophia, but it was a prophecy from God of the future, and I'm a Christian, it said. The Department of Human Services also had notes that indicate that Rebecca said she had a spiritual vision in which Sophia is dead, and she's unsure how Sophia is killed. Rebecca is held in custody at the Lynn County Jail without bail. She's been charged with aggravated murder and faces between 30 years to life in prison if convicted. 24-year-old UK man, Jordan Glover, has been jailed for 18 years after chasing and ramming a quad bike with his car, killing 18-year-old Rahiz Mahmood and seriously injuring 19-year-old Tommy Lee Haig. The incident occurred on the afternoon of the 3rd of June 2021 along Broadstone Way in Holmwood, Bradford, England. Tensions were high when Jordan was a passenger in a Nissan Terrano that rammed into an extensively damaged parked Volkswagen Golf. Minutes later, a quad bike arrives at the scene, driven by Tommy, who had a machete on board, while Rahiz was a back passenger armed with a pitchfork. Jordan is captured on CCTV, driving a silver Ford Focus, chasing the quad bike along the residential street at speeds of up to 65 miles per hour. As they go around the bend, Jordan plows into the back of the quad bike, causing it to spiral out of control and smash into a nearby wall, and witnesses rush to their aid. Tommy suffered serious injuries and a multitude of fractures and was rushed to hospital to recover, while Rahiz suffered severe head trauma and died at the scene. Jordan fled in his car and abandoned it down the road and laid low for a few days before he was arrested. Following his arrest, Jordan told the police that he had been drawn into the tensions in the area previously, and he and his family had been threatened. He claimed that he feared he was going to be hurt or killed when he saw the teenagers on the quad bike and others nearby, and he tried to drive them away from the area. He accepted driving too close at one point and suggested he accidentally made contact with the quad bike. On the 21st of April 2022, Jordan was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Jordan was found guilty of Rahiz's murder and causing grievous bodily harm to the driver of the quad bike. During the hearing, a judge said Jordan allowed himself to become embroiled in gang-related issues on the afternoon of Rahiz's death, adding that he used the car as a weapon. The judge said he also risked the lives of many other drivers that day. 27-year-old Hellianne Cruz has been arrested and charged with child endangerment after leaving her young daughter in a hot vehicle while shopping. The incident occurred on the 6th of April 2022 while Helly was shopping at Walmart, located along Clinton Highway in Knoxville, Tennessee. Helly left a 6-year-old child alone in a Jeep while she was asleep under a blanket on a 75-degree day. The windows were wound up and the car was locked. While Helly was shopping, the child awoke and exited the vehicle and began to look for her mother inside the Walmart. While her daughter was looking for her, Helly had left the store and entered her vehicle, believing her child was in the back. She drove halfway home before realizing her daughter was not with her. Helly returned to the store, but the police had been contacted by the employees to report the little girl lost. Helly has been charged with neglect and endangerment of a child. 19-year-old De La Fere of Memphis and 38-year-old Samuel Bowling of Nashville are behind bars after abducting 17-year-old Trinity Case and holding her for ransom. The events unfolded at around 9:15 p.m. on the 18th of April 2022, when Trinity left work at a bakery located at 502 Central Avenue in Hot Springs, Arkansas. She left with a co-worker when they were both approached by a woman who asked Trinity if she could use a phone to call family members. The woman claimed that she was lost, and her parents were staying in a condo in Hot Springs. The woman then asked Trinity to come closer to a car to use her phone's GPS. Meanwhile, Trinity's co-worker left to get a car from a nearby parking space, and when she returned, the woman and Trinity were nowhere to be seen. She tried calling Trinity's phone, but there was no response. She then contacted Trinity's mother, who made several attempts to contact her daughter until she finally answered. The teen told her mother that everything is fine before a man got on the phone. The man demanded $10,000 for Trinity's safe return and threatened to kill her and cut her up if she did not comply. The call ended after the man made his demands, and the authorities issued an Amber Alert the following morning. At around 3:22 p.m. on the 19th of April 2022, Trinity managed to escape and went to a nearby liquor store to call her parents, located at 4738 Central Avenue. She was transported to a local hospital and treated for minor injuries, and police identified Dayla and Samuel as the suspects. At around 5:52 p.m, the police located Dayla and Samuel in a hotel just down the road from the liquor store, and they were arrested without incident. They're both held at the Garland County Detention Center on a $1 million bond and are charged with kidnapping, aggravated robbery, battery, and false imprisonment.